You study for years. You take on debt. You get the degree. And then you wonder, was it actually worth it? Today, Alex and Sarah both went to university. They both graduated. They both got jobs. But they feel very differently about the experience. And they disagree, quite strongly, about whether young people today should do the same. Listen to their conversation. We will look at the key phrases at the end. Let's go. Alex and Sarah both went to university. Alex studied business. Sarah studied English literature. They graduated about 8 years ago. Today, something has brought the topic up.
My younger cousin just got her A-level results. She is trying to decide whether to go to university or not. Her parents are pushing her to go. She is not so sure.
How old is she?
18. She wants to go into digital marketing. She has already been offered a paid internship at a small agency, but her parents think she needs a degree first.
Honestly, I think she should take the internship.
Really? You went to university. Did you regret it?
I did not regret it exactly, but looking back, I am not sure the degree itself was what made the difference. The 3 years taught me a lot about life, living independently, managing myself, meeting people from completely different backgrounds. But the actual qualification? I am not sure my career would look very different without it.
I feel the opposite. I think university was one of the best decisions I ever made, not just for the degree, but for the experience of really learning how to think, how to construct an argument, how to read something critically and form a view on it. I do not think I would have developed those skills in a workplace at 18.
But those skills are not exclusive to university. You can develop critical thinking in a job, especially a good one with real responsibility. And you would be getting paid to develop them rather than going into debt.
The debt argument is real, but it is also a bit simplistic. Yes, university costs money, but a degree also increases your earning potential over a lifetime. Most studies show that graduates earn significantly more on average than non-graduates over the course of a career. So the debt pays itself back.
On average, yes, but averages hide a huge amount of variation. A medicine or law degree? Absolutely worth the investment. A degree in a field with limited job prospects and high tuition fees? The maths looks very different. It depends entirely on what you study and where.
That is fair. Not all degrees are equal, but I also think people underestimate the non-financial value of a degree. The networks you build, the exposure to ideas you would never encounter otherwise, the time to figure out who you are before the working world forces you to become something.
The time to figure out who you are, I would push back on that. A lot of people go to university without any idea of what they want to do. They pick a course because they did not know what else to pick. They spend 3 years and a significant amount of money and come out the other end still without a clue. At least if you take a job at 18, you are forced to figure it out in the real world with actual consequences.
You are describing a worst-case scenario, though. Yes, some people drift through university without purpose, but that can also happen in the workplace. Plenty of people take jobs at 18 and drift through those too. The problem is not the environment, it is the lack of direction, and that follows you wherever you go.
True, but at least drifting in a job does not cost you 30 or 40,000 pounds.
Fair point.
And the world has changed so much since we went. When we graduated, a degree still felt like it opened doors. Now everyone has a degree. It has become the baseline, not the differentiator. So the competitive advantage that used to come from having a degree has mostly disappeared. What matters now is what you can actually do.
I think that is partially true. In some sectors, tech, creative industries, entrepreneurship, yes, a degree matters less than your portfolio, your skills, your experience. But in others, medicine, law, academia, certain areas of finance, a degree is still the entry ticket. You simply cannot get in without one.
Absolutely. And that is exactly why the answer depends on what you want to do. For Sarah's cousin, she wants to go into digital marketing. Show me a job listing for a digital marketing role that requires a specific degree. Most of them say, degree preferred, or relevant experience accepted. A paid internship at a real agency, with actual clients, real campaigns, real results, is worth more in that field than 3 years of theory.
I do not entirely disagree with you there, but here is what worries me. At 18, you often do not know what you want to do. Your cousin says she wants digital marketing now, but what if she changes her mind in 2 years? If she has a degree, she has more options. If she has 2 years of internship experience in one field, pivoting becomes harder.
Does it though? Work experience is transferable. Skills like project management, communication, data analysis, you develop those in any decent job and they carry across industries. A degree in English literature does not make you more adaptable than 2 years of real work experience. It just gives you a piece of paper that says you can read and write.
That is a bit reductive. My English degree taught me how to analyze complex information, how to write under pressure, how to make a case for a position with limited evidence. Those are genuinely useful skills in almost any profession.
And you could not have learned those in a job?
Probably not at the same depth. At 18 in a workplace, you are usually doing fairly junior tasks. You are not being asked to think deeply about anything. University pushed me in ways a job at that age would not have.
That might have been true when we were 18, but the quality of entry-level jobs has changed. A good internship or apprenticeship now involves real work, real mentorship, real learning. Companies have invested a lot in their early careers programs precisely because they want to develop talent without relying on universities to do it for them.
Some companies, not all. And access to those programs is not equal. Elite apprenticeships and internships often go to people with the right connections, the right schools, the right postcodes. University, for all its flaws, is at least a more structured pathway that is available to people regardless of who they know.
That is a really good point, actually. I had not thought about the access angle. If you come from a background where you do not have connections and your family does not know anyone in the industries you want to work in, university gives you a network that you would not otherwise have.
Exactly. And that network, the people you meet, the lecturers who become references, the alumni who open doors years later, that is often undervalued when people calculate the return on a degree.
Okay, I concede that point. The network argument is a good one. But I still think for Sarah's cousin specifically, digital marketing, a concrete offer on the table, a clear sense of what she wants right now, the internship is the better choice. She can always go back and do a part-time degree later if she decides she needs one. But she cannot go back and undo 3 years of lost practical experience.
I think the real answer is that there is no universal answer. It depends on the person, the field, the specific opportunities available, and honestly, what kind of learner you are. Some people thrive in an academic environment. Some people learn by doing. And forcing the wrong type of person into the wrong environment, whether that is university or the workplace, is a waste of time and money either way.
I completely agree with that. The problem is that we have spent decades telling young people that university is the default path, and the pressure that comes with that, from parents, from schools, from society, means a lot of people end up there not because it is right for them, but because they did not feel like they had another option.
And the ones who do not go often feel like they are missing out or falling behind, even if objectively they are doing perfectly well.
The pressure is enormous on both sides. Go to university and you risk the debt and the time. Do not go and you risk the stigma and the self-doubt. Neither option feels clean.
So what are you going to tell her? Your cousin.
She is your cousin.
I know. But you are better at this kind of advice.
I would tell her to take the internship, work hard, build real skills and a real portfolio. And if she finds herself hitting a ceiling in 2 or 3 years, where a degree genuinely opens a door she cannot open otherwise, then consider it then. With more information, more money potentially saved, and a much clearer sense of what she actually wants.
I think I would tell her the same thing, which surprises me a little because I really do value my degree.
You can value your own experience and still recognize that a different path might be better for someone else. That is not a contradiction.
No, it is not. Okay, I am going to tell her to take the internship, and then I am going to feel slightly guilty about it for about a week.
That sounds about right.
That was a real conversation about one of the biggest decisions young people face. Real opinions, real disagreement, real English. Now let's look at the key phrases. Here are the key phrases from that conversation. Some are about education and careers. Some are useful for any discussion or debate. Listen carefully, then use them yourself. Let's start with phrase number 1. The entry ticket. This means the minimum requirement to enter a field or job. For example, in medicine, a degree is the entry ticket. Moving on to phrase number 2. Earning potential. This is how much money you can earn over time in your career. Now, let's look at phrase number 3. On average. This means generally or typically, but not in every case. All right, phrase number 4. Pushing back on that. This means you are politely disagreeing with someone. Let's get into phrase number 5. A worst-case scenario. The most negative possible outcome of a situation. Now, phrase number 6. The competitive advantage. Something that gives you an edge over others. Off to phrase number 7. I concede that point. This means you accept that the other person is right. Let's check out phrase number 8. The default path. The option most people choose without questioning it. Now moving to phrase number 9. Hitting a ceiling. Reaching a point where you cannot grow or progress further. And finally, phrase number 10. That is not a contradiction. Two things may seem opposite, but both can still be true. 10 phrases, all from one real conversation. Now think about your own experience. Did you go to university? Do you think it was worth it? Try talking about it, in English. That is your practice for today. Tell me in the comments, did you go to university? And looking back, do you think it was worth it? Or would you have done something different? I read every single comment. And if you struggle and dread the question, tell me about yourself, then watch this next video to find out the perfect formula.